Two previous test flights of Elon Musk's Starship prototypes crash landed, fireballs, complete and utter disaster. But this is the testing phase, so you can expect that to happen. But was the third time a charm? Well, sort of. So yesterday's test flight was supposed to take off, fly around, and then land upright. The takeoff and the flying actually went really, really well. Here's the landing.
Right here, the close-up shot. Here we go.
Come on, SN10.
Come on, there's one, two. Oh, do we have all around?
Please.
It's trying. It's hovering.
That was the final landing engine.
Single engine.
Was that intentional?
Oh my God, the
Should
legs.
land on one engine.
Legs.
Landing leg deployed.
Oh my God. You can do it. Is it gonna stay? Is it landed? It did it.
No.
It did it. Yes. It's on the ground. It's vertical.
Okay, they're really excited. I gotta say that excitement made me excited. But Cenk, wait, because we're not done yet. Let me just get to the next video.
No, hold on. Before you get to that, I just want to say, look, I saw that video. I did not see the second video till later, and that's a big part of the story. And I'm going to make it amusingly and weirdly political. But before I get to that, this is the part where I root for Elon Musk. That's why we had this legendary poll on tyt.com. Elon Musk, yes or no, right? And initially I voted yes. And it's because he's an interesting cat, right? Now, as it turns out, he's got massive issues. Like months later, I switched my vote to no, right? And those are mainly political and ego-driven and selfishness, etc. But it's hard not to root for SpaceX, and so he's trying something bold and big, and I gotta say I appreciate it. So when I saw it stick the landing, I was like, yes. Okay, now the rest of the story.
Right. So now we go to the next video. It's 8 minutes later. And bear in mind, like there were no people around this ship. Okay. And by the way, what is this Starship? What's the whole point? As you guys might know, Elon Musk wants to create a situation in which people can go to and fro Mars, right? And so this is like the beginning phases of that. And here's what happened 8 minutes after the video that we just showed you.
Remember, the legs have built-in crush core, so they have the ability to absorb some shock, like a sort of suspension. So if it was a little faster than expected.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
There you go.
There's your methane leak.
Yes.
There's your...
Folks.
Boom.
Wow. And that's why we weren't running replays.
Exactly. Someone got that, right?
Slightly less soft landing now. Wow.
That was awesome.
Jack.
I gotta say, people love to watch fire burn. Like there's something amazing about watching things blow up. And then there's the added layer of this thing that looks like a giant metal penis exploding like that. Look at it.
100%. Are you kidding me? It already looked phallic. And then when it like misfires like this, you're like, is this an allegory for Elon Musk? Or is this voting no? Anyway, so
it just reminds me of what happens in a room when I walk in. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not that full of myself.
Well, Houston, I mean, you could argue that's a bad thing. So I was like, I don't know that you want that as your thing. Like Anna walks in and that explodes. I don't know, right? Okay, we're getting past that in a hurry. So look, I love the play-by-play guys because they're super into it. So one of my nephews, I was gonna say my nephew, then you're confused, is an aeronautical engineer. Okay. I'm sorry, that's so funny. Aerospace engineer. If he hears that, he'd be like, oh, you don't even know what kind of engineer. Yeah. Okay. It is not Haas, but yes, he's an aerospace engineer. So of course he gets super into this, right? And I like that enthusiasm. I like that passion by anyone about anything, right? And this is the thing that makes sense. But let's note also for the record that the best part of the story randomly wound up being Anna saying to and fro. What are we, all of a sudden we're in the 18th century? It's going to Mars, to and fro from Mars. Anyways, it also goes to the moon. Now that sounds fun and super cool, but now I'm gonna be Debbie Downer a little bit and go, yeah, but who's gonna get to go to the moon and Mars? Ain't gonna be you and me, brothers and sisters, okay? You're gonna have to be incredibly wealthy to take that flight. Once it's finally working, and obviously it isn't working yet. I have a political point, but go ahead, Anna.
Is there a future in which the technology advances to the point where it could be accessible to some people? Yeah, I'm sure. The question is like, what's the point of wanting to go to Mars? Like, I think that space exploration is important. I'm not minimizing that, right? But there's also some concern that wealthy individuals are desperately trying to find another place to live, considering that we're destroying this planet. So there's that aspect to it. But also, I don't really understand some people, right? And what I mean by that is, I have no interest in going to Mars, like 0%. I have no interest in going to the moon. I barely even have an interest in sitting on a plane and going up into the air. Like my life is exciting enough. Like I don't want to go to Mars. I'll look at the pictures. I'll watch the videos. Good enough for me. I remember there was a period of time where John Iadarola was like, I think he applied to be like the first group of people who get to travel to Mars once they get this whole technology situation figured out. And I think that's insane. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it definitely is whatever floats your boat, or in this case, spaceship. Yeah, for me, I'm profoundly uninterested. But for guys like my nephew and John, they're like, oh my God, you guys are nuts. Going to the moon would be the coolest thing in the world. But Anna, it is partly selfish. Like, yes, Elon Musk thinks that the planet's gonna burn down, which I agree with him on that politically because of climate change. And he's trying to get off the planet, literally. He basically believes in Elysium. If you saw that movie, where the rich escape and create like a nirvana on a different planet, and maybe they use us, serfs down here as we continue to burn on this planet. But I think he would be way better suited and would help himself and us better if he actually fought climate change. I mean, he's put billions into these things. He's now, I think, the second or first richest man in the world. Him and Bezos keep switching positions. And so if you're among the two richest people in the world, maybe you could do something about climate change. Maybe that's the way.
Yeah, Cenk, the US taxpayer has put billions into SpaceX. Like let's not minimize that either. I mean, in December of last year, SpaceX won another giant government grant to the tune of $900 million. So I don't want to minimize that, because oftentimes when we talk about companies like SpaceX, it's talked about as a private company, and this is what you get from capitalism, right? You get innovation, but don't minimize the amount of research and development money that goes into companies like SpaceX.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a good political point too. But none of these are the political point I actually wanted to make. But a quick side note before we go on. Tesla is doing something about climate change. That's why I think Musk is a complicated character and not something that's easily typecast into black and white issues. But you could also do something political with it. But the analogy that I wanted to use this story for, one, it's a fun and interesting story in and of itself, and I'm actually rooting for it to land. And when it did land and it looked like it was gonna survive, it was amazing and I was elated by it. But the analogy here is, I saw the first video, I never saw the second video until we decided we were gonna do a story about it, and then at that point I watched it. And so there's two different analogies. One is, this is kind of how social media works. That's why the MAGA guys only see Trump's lies and conservative media. They literally only see half the story. So they don't know that the ship blew up. They literally never saw the video, right? In that analogy. So I talked to a couple of MAGA guys recently on the conversation, and they just have no idea what the actual facts are because it was never in their social media feed. And then the second analogy is to the mainstream media. Like they will report a lot of times, and I just saw it in an article recently the other day. Medicare for all is going to cost $32 trillion according to this study. And then they leave out the second part, which is that it saves $34 trillion according to that same study. Now, if you only saw the SpaceX land, you think that's amazing. If you see it blow up, you go, oh, not so amazing. If you only see that Medicare for all costs $32 trillion, you think, oh my God, I hate Medicare for all. If you see that it actually saves 34 trillion and hence saves us $2 trillion overall and covers everybody, well, then you'd love Medicare for all. So
I think that's such a good point. Like I 100% agree with you. There's the way people get their information is a problem, right? And so I don't think that most of the people that we disagree with politically necessarily, are 100% informed on what the issues are, which is why, sorry to bring this up again, I think it's important to make sure that if the first exposure these people have to us or to others on the left is the kind of rhetoric that we saw from Michael Moore and Keith Olbermann regarding Texas and withholding the vaccine from Texas over the actions of Greg Abbott, that's not gonna do much to make our case. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you wanna win, you have to have a message that's welcoming and non-judgmental. Because if you come at them with, you're a moron and you deserve this, you're not winning over anyone. And that's just where I'm coming from when I have my commentary in regard to what Michael Moore and Keith Olbermann tweeted. You get what I'm saying?
I do, and for those of you not familiar with what Anna's referring to, she's rubbing it in on two different debates that she won in polls that we did. So don't call them morons, and then today there's a poll on Twitch. She's winning 60-40 on the Olbermann and Moore tweets, but it's never good enough for Casper. She's gonna come and move your sofa and your recliner. She's got to win, so she's throwing that in there gratuitously. I'm just telling you, my job's to report the news. Just telling you what's happening here.
I definitely don't care about winning in bets. Well, if there's money involved, I do care about winning bets against you. But
I've got pretty good experience in you caring.
But I actually care a lot about winning people over and getting them on our side, so we have the people's power to fight back against a broken system. And again, you're just not going to be able to do that if you're. And look, by the way, it's a critique on my past rhetoric as well. Are you kidding me? Like, I've been pretty vicious in the past, and I'm sure I'm gonna F up again in the future. But I just wanna have more consciousness about it, and I wanna be more strategic in the way I communicate, because I think that you can win people over. We're right on the policy issues. We just need to do a better job getting the information about those policy issues to the right people, and also tinkering with our communication style to be a little more welcoming to people who are open to new information.
Hashtag Casper for the people.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.